The text came at 2:47 a.m. Brielle stared at her phone screen, hands shaking so hard she nearly dropped it on her apartment floor. 3 words glowed back at her in the darkness. Mind your business. Her boyfriend of 4 years, was out there, somewhere in Los Angeles at almost 3 in the morning, telling her to mind her business when she'd simply asked where he was. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part. She could hear a woman laughing in the background of his last voice note. High-pitched. Flirty. Close enough to his phone that Brielle knew exactly what kind of night Jackson was having while she sat alone in their shared apartment, surrounded by the dinner she'd cooked that had gone cold hours ago. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that when they betrayed you, it felt like the ground disappeared beneath your feet? Because that's exactly what happened to Brielle Hawthorne that night. And what she did next? Nobody saw it coming. Not Jackson. Not his friends. Not even Brielle herself. Before we dive into this insane story, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now if you've ever been lied to by someone you loved. And stick around till the end because the revenge. Chef's kiss. Now let's get into it. 6 months earlier, everything looked perfect from the outside. Brielle and Jackson were that couple. You know the type, the ones who showed up to every party together, finished each other's sentences, posted cute pictures with captions about forever and my person. They lived in a sleek 2-bedroom apartment in downtown LA, the kind with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. Jackson worked in tech sales, pulling in serious money. Brielle was a content creator and freelance designer, building her brand one post at a time. On paper, dream life. But here's the thing about perfect-looking relationships, they're usually hiding something. It started small. Jackson coming home later than usual. Client dinner, he'd say, kissing her forehead. You know how it is. Then his phone started living face down on every surface. Screen always off. Password suddenly changed from her birthday to something she didn't know. Babe, why'd you change your passcode? Brielle asked one morning over coffee. Jackson barely looked up from his eggs. Company policy. New security requirements. A lie so casual it almost sounded true. Then came the weekend trips. Last minute. Always with his boys. Vegas, babe. Networking thing. I'll be back Sunday night. Miami. Bachelor party for crew. San Francisco. Tech conference. Brielle wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. Because the alternative, that the man she'd built her entire adult life around was playing her, was too painful to consider. Her best friend Oakley wasn't buying it. Girl, wake up, Oakley said during one of their lunch dates at their favorite spot in Beverly Hills. She stabbed her salad with enough force to crack the plate. He's been cheating. You just don't want to see it. You don't know that, Brielle shot back, defensive. Jackson loves me. Does he? Oakley leaned forward, voice dropping. Because love doesn't change passwords. Love doesn't come home smelling like perfume that ain't yours. Love doesn't ignore you for 6 hours and then text sorry, phone died with a full battery. Brielle felt her chest tighten. She'd noticed the perfume. The late nights. The way Jackson barely touched her anymore, like she was a roommate instead of his girlfriend. But admitting it out loud meant dealing with it. And dealing with it meant possibly losing him. You ever ignore red flags because facing the truth seemed harder than living the lie? Yeah. Brielle was living in a whole parade of red flags, pretending they were just decorations. The night everything fell apart started like any other Thursday. Brielle spent the afternoon editing content for a brand deal, a skincare company paying her 5 figures for a single post. Good money. Her follow count had crossed 200K that week, and bigger opportunities were knocking. She decided to surprise Jackson with his favorite meal, garlic butter steak, roasted potatoes, and asparagus. The whole apartment smelled incredible by 7 p.m. 7 p.m. became 8 p.m. Then 9 p.m. No text. No call. By 10 p.m., Brielle's text sat on delivered but not read. Where are you? Dinner's ready. Jackson. This isn't funny anymore. Nothing. She called. Straight to voicemail. Her stomach churned. Was he okay? Car accident. Mugged. 1,000 terrible possibilities raced through her mind before she forced herself to check his location. They'd shared locations years ago, back when trust was real between them, when it felt sweet instead of necessary. The little blue dot on her screen showed Jackson across town. West Hollywood. At an address she didn't recognize. Not his office. Not his gym. Not anywhere she knew. Brielle's hands started shaking. She opened Instagram, scrolling through his recent activity. Nothing. But then she checked his tagged photos. There. Posted 3 hours ago by someone named at Calavos. A group shot at some rooftop bar. Expensive-looking cocktails. City views. Beautiful people. And there was Jackson, arm around a blonde woman Brielle had never seen before. Not just next to her, arm around her. Like they were together. The caption, "Best nights with my favorites." Brielle's vision blurred. She zoomed in on the photo. The blonde, Callie, apparently, was gorgeous. Model pretty. The kind of girl who looked expensive even in casual clothes. And Jackson looked happy. Relaxed. The way he used to look with Brielle before everything got complicated. Her phone slipped from her hands, clattering onto the kitchen counter next to the now-cold steak dinner. What do you do when the person you love is living a whole different life without you? Brielle did what anyone would do. She spiraled. She checked Callie's entire Instagram. Every post. Every story. Every tagged photo going back months. And there he was. Jackson. In multiple photos with this woman. Beach trips. Dinner dates. Concert photos where they looked way too comfortable together. How had she missed this? Because she hadn't been looking. She'd been trusting. Believing. Waiting for Jackson to be the man he promised he'd be. At 1:30 a.m., she texted him again. "I know where you are. I saw the photos. We need to talk. Now." The message showed delivered. Then read. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Brielle held her breath. And then, at 2:47 a.m., came the text that changed everything. "Mind your business, Brielle." 5 words. That's all it took to shatter 4 years of history. Brielle read the text once. Twice. 3 times, like maybe she'd misunderstood. But no. There it was. Clear as day. Not "I'm sorry." Not "let me explain." Not even "I'm on my way home." Just, "Mind your business." Her entire body went numb. She typed back with shaking fingers. "My business? You're my business. You're my boyfriend. Where the hell are you?" The dots appeared immediately this time. "You don't need to know who I'm with. We're not married. Stop acting crazy." Stop acting crazy. Brielle felt something inside her snap. Not her heart, that had already broken. This was different. Deeper. Like the part of her that had been bending and accommodating and forgiving finally just broke clean in half. She called him. He answered on the 4th ring, and she could hear music pumping in the background. Voices. That same high-pitched female laugh from earlier. "What?" Jackson said flatly. Not a question. A statement. Like she was bothering him. "What do you mean what?" Brielle's voice cracked. "Where are you? Who are you with?" "I'm out. With friends. That's all you need to know." Friends. Friends. "Jackson, there are pictures of you all over some girl's Instagram. You've been out all night. You didn't tell me where you were going. Our dinner is sitting here cold and you're telling me to mind my business." Silence. Then, "Brielle, you're being dramatic. I'm allowed to have a life." "A life. We live together. We've been together for 4 years." "Yeah, and maybe that's the problem." His voice was cold now. Detached. Like she was a stranger. "Maybe I need space. Maybe I need to figure out what I want without you breathing down my neck every second." The music got louder in the background. Someone called his name, a female voice. "Is that her?" Brielle whispered. "Is that Callie?" "Oh my God, Brielle. Is that her?" "You know what? Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you know what else? She doesn't stress me out. She doesn't check my location. She doesn't interrogate me about every little thing. She just lets me be. Each word was a knife. Brielle's tears came hot and fast now, blurring her vision. So what are you saying? You're cheating on me. I'm saying. Jackson sighed, like this conversation was exhausting him. I'm saying maybe we've been done for a while and you just didn't want to see it. Then why didn't you tell me? Brielle screamed into the phone. Why string me along? Why let me cook you dinner and sleep in your bed and plan a future with you if you were already gone? Because I didn't want to hurt you. Well, congratulations, Jackson. Mission failed. Click. He hung up on her. Actually hung up. Brielle stood in the middle of their apartment, his apartment, really, his name was on the lease, and felt the full weight of her situation crash down. She was alone. In a city where everyone she knew was his friend first. Living in his apartment. Financially dependent on a relationship that had just exploded in her face at 3 a.m. on a random Thursday night. Have you ever felt so betrayed that you couldn't even cry anymore? Like your body just shut down? That's where Brielle was. She walked to the bathroom like a ghost, caught sight of herself in the mirror. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Eyes red and swollen. Hair a mess. This was rock bottom. But here's the thing about rock bottom, it's solid. You can build on it. And Brielle Hawthorne. She was about to build something beautiful. Brielle didn't sleep that night. Instead, she sat on the cold bathroom floor with her phone and did something she'd never done before. She fought back. First, she screenshot everything. Every text. Every Instagram photo of Jackson and Callie. Every unanswered message from the past 6 months. Every lie. Then she called Oakley. Girl, it's 4 a.m. He cheated, Brielle said, voice hollow. You were right. He's been cheating. For months probably. With some girl named Callie. And tonight he told me to mind my business and hung up on me. Silence. Then, I'm on my way. 20 minutes later, Oakley burst through the apartment door with 2 other friends, Sloane and Indy, all looking ready for war. Pack your stuff, Oakley commanded. You're not staying here another night. This is my home. This is his apartment, Sloane corrected gently. And we're getting you out before he comes back and makes this worse. They were right. For the next 3 hours, while the sun rose over Los Angeles, Brielle's friends helped her pack. Clothes. Laptop. Camera equipment. Personal items. Everything that mattered. She left the dinner on the counter. Let him come home to his cold, congealed steak and know exactly what he'd thrown away. By 8 a.m., Brielle was moved into Oakley's guest room in Santa Monica, surrounded by boxes and broken dreams. Now what? She whispered. Oakley handed her a cup of coffee and sat on the edge of the bed. Now you get your life back. The first week was the hardest. Brielle cried. A lot. The kind of crying where you can't catch your breath and your whole body shakes and you wonder if you'll ever feel normal again. Jackson texted her exactly once. You really just left. Dramatic much. She blocked him immediately. But blocking someone on your phone doesn't block them from your brain. Brielle saw Jackson everywhere. In the coffee shop they used to go to. In the Netflix shows they'd watched together. In the future she'd planned that would never happen now. Oakley was patient but firm. You're allowed to grieve, she said on day 3, when Brielle couldn't get out of bed. But you're not allowed to go back to him. I won't. I'm serious, Brie. The second he realizes Callie isn't all that, he's gonna come crawling back. And you need to be strong enough to slam that door in his face. Brielle nodded, but part of her wondered if Oakley was right. Would Jackson come back? Did she even want him to? The answer surprised her. No, she didn't. Because for the first time in 4 years, Brielle felt something she hadn't felt in forever, freedom. No more wondering where he was. No more checking locations. No more swallowing her feelings to avoid a fight. No more shrinking herself to make room for his ego. She was free. And once she realized that, everything changed. Week 2, Brielle did something bold. She posted on Instagram for the first time since the breakup. Not some sad, cryptic quote. Not a thirst trap. Just her truth. The post was a photo of her smiling, genuinely smiling, on Oakley's balcony with the ocean in the background. Hair messy. No makeup. Real. The caption. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. And sometimes you realize you were never the problem. You were just with the wrong person. Here's to new chapters. Within an hour, it had 10,000 likes. Within 3 hours, 50,000. Her DMs exploded. Friends she hadn't talked to in years reaching out with support. Strangers sharing their own breakup stories. Brands sliding in with collaboration offers. And buried in those DMs was a message from someone unexpected. At Calivos. Brielle's stomach dropped when she saw the name. The message was short. Can we talk? I think you deserve to know the truth. Would you respond to the other woman? Or block and move on? Brielle stared at that message for a full 10 minutes before her finger hovered over the delete button. But something stopped her. Curiosity. Anger. The need to know why this woman had helped destroy her life. She accepted the message request. Fine. Coffee. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. You pick the place. Callie chose a small cafe in Venice Beach. Neutral territory. When Brielle walked in, she spotted her immediately. The blonde from all the photos, sitting in the corner booth, looking nervous. Brielle slid into the seat across from her, arms crossed. You have 5 minutes. Callie took a shaky breath. I didn't know. Didn't know what? That he had a girlfriend. A serious girlfriend. Living together, 4 years girlfriend. Callie's eyes were red-rimmed, like she'd been crying. He told me you guys broke up 6 months ago. That you were just friends living together until the lease ended. Brielle felt her blood turn to ice. What? I swear, Callie rushed on. I swear on everything, I didn't know. We met at a work event in June. He was charming and funny and told me he was single and looking for something real and I fell for it. So you've been dating him since June? Yeah, 3 months. Callie pulled out her phone, scrolling through texts. Look at what he told me. She turned the screen toward Brielle. Messages from Jackson to Callie, finally free from that toxic situation. She's so controlling. You're everything she's not. Brielle felt sick. When I saw your Instagram post, Callie continued, voice breaking, I did some digging. Found old photos of you two from this summer. Tagged at places he told me he went alone. I confronted him last night. And he called me crazy. Said I was imagining things. Then blocked me on everything. The two women sat in silence, both betrayed by the same man in different ways. Finally, Brielle spoke. He's been lying to both of us. Looks like it. So what do we do about it? Callie looked up, something fierce sparking in her eyes. We make sure everyone knows exactly who Jackson really is. Ever teamed up with someone you thought was your enemy and realized they were actually on your side? That's how the revenge started. Not with screaming or slashed tires or anything illegal. But with the truth. Brielle and Callie spent the next week comparing notes. Screenshots. Timelines. Every lie Jackson had told either of them. Turns out, there were more women. A girl named Rylan from San Diego who he'd been casually seeing for 2 months. A woman named Indy, different from Brielle's friend, from his gym who thought they were exclusive. Jackson wasn't just a cheater. He was a serial liar running multiple relationships like a full-time job. The women created a group chat. Shared stories. Supported each other. And then they made a decision. They'd expose him. Not for revenge, okay, maybe a little for revenge, but to protect other women from falling for his act. Callie, who had a decent following herself, posted first. A carousel of screenshots showing Jackson's lies, his manipulations, his contradicting timelines. The caption was simple, PSA, if a man seems too good to be true, he probably is. Here's what happened when I trusted the wrong person. The post went viral. 100K likes in the first day. Shared across Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Then Rylan posted. Then the gym girl. And finally, Brielle posted her side. Not angry. Not bitter. Just honest. I spent 4 years loving someone who spent 4 years lying. To me. To multiple other women. I'm not posting this for sympathy. I'm posting this so the next girl sees the red flags I ignored. Trust your gut. And know that when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The internet did what the internet does best. It destroyed him. Jackson's company got wind of the posts. Apparently, dating multiple women and lying about it violated some ethics clause in his contract. He was put on administrative leave pending investigation. His friends, mutual friends he and Brielle once shared, started distancing themselves. Nobody wants to be associated with that guy. His Instagram comments turned into a war zone. Every new post flooded with questions, accusations, snake emojis. He tried to defend himself. Posted some long, rambling My Truth caption about how people only show one side and nobody knows the full story. It made things worse. Within 2 weeks, Jackson had lost his job, most of his friends, and any shred of reputation he once had in LA. And Brielle's following exploded. From 200k to 500k in a month. Brands were fighting to work with her. Her DMs were full of interview requests, podcast invitations, even a literary agent asking if she'd consider writing a book. But more than the numbers, Brielle felt something she hadn't felt in years. Like herself. She started therapy. Worked through her patterns of accepting less than she deserved. Learned to set boundaries. She got her own apartment. Small but hers. Every piece of furniture chosen by her. Every decision made for her own happiness. She reconnected with old hobbies. Started painting again. Took a solo trip to Portland just because she wanted to. And 3 months after that awful 2 a.m. text, Brielle ran into Jackson. It was at a mutual friend's birthday party in West Hollywood. Brielle almost didn't go, but Oakley convinced her. You have nothing to hide from, Oakley said. You're thriving. He's the one who should be embarrassed. She was right. Brielle walked into that party looking incredible. Not for him, for herself. Because she finally understood that her worth had never been tied to whether Jackson chose her. She'd chosen herself. And that was enough. Jackson was there with some new girl. Young. Probably being fed the same lies Brielle once believed. When their eyes met across the room, Brielle felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Not even satisfaction. Just indifference. He looked smaller somehow. Less shiny. Like the illusion had finally broken. He approached her near the bar, drink in hand. Brielle. Can we talk? I don't think there's anything left to say. I'm sorry. His voice cracked. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. I was stupid and selfish and I miss you. There it is. The apology that comes too late, when he's lost everything and you've already moved on. Brielle looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the truth. He didn't miss her. He missed what she gave him. The stability. The unconditional love. The woman who put up with his nonsense and asked for nothing in return. You don't miss me, Jackson. You miss having someone who tolerated your lies. That's not fair. Fair. You want to talk about fair. Brielle's voice stayed calm, but firm. You lied to me for months. Cheated with multiple women. Told me to mind my business when I asked where you were at 3 a.m. You hung up on me. Made me feel crazy for having basic expectations. And now you want me to feel bad for you. Jackson had no response. I hope you grow from this, Brielle continued. I hope you figure out why you treat people this way. But I'm not going to be part of that journey. I'm done. She turned to walk away. Brielle, wait. She stopped, glanced back. That girl you're with. Treat her better than you treated me. Or don't waste her time. And then she walked away. For real this time. No looking back. 6 months later, Brielle sat on her own balcony, in her apartment, watching the sunset over LA. Her phone buzzed. A text from Callie. Coffee this week? I miss my revenge partner. Brielle smiled. She'd gained more from that heartbreak than just followers and opportunities. She'd gained real friendships, self-respect, the knowledge that she'd never again settle for someone who made her question her worth. Another text came through, this time from a guy named Beckett she'd met at a gallery opening last month. Sweet, funny, transparent about his life in a way that felt refreshing. Still on for dinner tomorrow? Absolutely, she typed back. Was Beckett her forever? She didn't know. Didn't need to know. For now, she was just enjoying building something real. Something honest. Because here's the thing about rock bottom. It teaches you what you're really made of. And Brielle. She was made of steel wrapped in kindness. Of strength that didn't need to announce itself. Of a heart that could break and heal and love again, but this time with boundaries. That 2 a.m. text had shattered her world. But in rebuilding it, she'd created something better. Something hers. And Jackson. Last she heard through mutual friends, he was still trying to figure out why women kept leaving him. Turns out, when you treat people like they're disposable, they dispose of you. Brielle took a sip of her wine, watching the sky turn pink and gold, and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real, genuine, unshakable peace. The kind you only find when you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be happy, and give it to yourself. So that's Brielle's story. From a devastating 2 a.m. betrayal to complete self-transformation. If this story hit you in the feels, do me a favor. Smash that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me your biggest takeaway or your own story of walking away and leveling up. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? We post stories like this every week that'll make you feel all the emotions. Remember, the right person will never make you question your worth. And if they do, they're not your person. Until next time, protect your peace, trust your gut, and never settle for 2 a.m. excuses. See you in the next one.